demand regarding the return of Kohinoor to India. Is there any kind of conversation happening between the two sides?
We've been talking between the UK and India for quite some time to make sure that people both in the UK and in India can benefit from and have access to many of the cultural artefacts that stem back to the time, very different era. That's something that I've discussed with my counterpart.
Welcome to India. This is your first visit to India in your current role. How has it been going and what are your upcoming meetings?
Well, I'm here to attend the Waves conference and also to sign a cultural cooperation agreement between the UK and India. It is very exciting for me to be here. Not only is this a very personal visit for me, I'm the first ever Labour Cabinet Minister of Indian Heritage, but it's been an absolute delight to be able to signal how much we want to work with India to celebrate the great successes in film and TV, sports, music, fashion of our great nations, and to take that to the next level through greater collaboration.
Ma'am, as you mentioned, during your India visit, you have signed a bilateral cultural cooperation agreement. Can you talk to us more about that? How will it benefit both India and UK? And how do you see India-UK cultural connection?
Well, across the creative industries, the UK and India really excel, whether it's film, fashion, TV, music, gaming. We're really good at these things and we export many of those products to the world. But we know that by cooperating more closely, we can do more and we can achieve more together. Our Science Museums Group has been working with the National Science Museums Group here to get joint collaborations, joint exhibitions, tour different objects, make sure that people in India and the UK can really benefit from that. And we think that's the model for how we can cooperate much more closely across all the other creative industries as well.
India is known for its soft power in the world. How do you think this agreement will help grow Britain's soft power too?
Well, we've always had a long, close and deep relationship with India and we're really proud of that. We have 2 million Indians in the United Kingdom and they are the living, breathing bridge between our two nations. In recent years we've already seen lots of cultural collaborations springing up. Recently Ed Sheeran collaborating with Dileep Dosanjh and A.R. Rahman, which has brought a new vibrancy to the music industry, and we want to see more of that. We think that by working together, India and the UK can really be an exemplar of how you break down national boundaries and you work much more closely together and bring people together through the power of the creative industries.
Right. Ma'am, you also had a meeting with India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on the silence of the waves in Mumbai. How was that meeting and what was all discussed?
We were very pleased to have a bilateral meeting to discuss how we can cooperate much more closely. Prime Minister Modi has signalled his personal commitment to taking what is already a huge Indian success story through film, fashion and their wider creative industries and really putting rocket boosters under them for the coming years. Our Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, very much agrees with him. That is exactly what our UK government is trying to do, and we have a lot of ambition for what India and the UK can achieve together.
Right, ma'am. Many popular Bollywood and Indian movies have been shot in UK. You have also toured Yash Raj Studios during your visit. How do you see, more collaboration between India and UK's Indian film production in the future?
When we toured Yash Raj Studios yesterday, I was very keen to discuss how we could ensure that we have more Bollywood films filmed in location, not just in London, but all over the United Kingdom, but also how British companies can work very closely with Indian companies, with the new technology that's being developed that is really enhancing the cinematic experience. I want to see a cinematic revolution across the UK and India, with British and Indian companies collaborating to be able to take those films to the next level.
Right. India will be hosting the Women's Cricket World Cup in October 2025. How forward are you looking at it?
I'm very much looking forward to seeing India hosting the Women's Cricket World Cup, and I was delighted to meet some of the members of the India women's cricket team on my visit. They will be coming to the UK this summer with the men's team as well, and we are so looking forward to welcoming them. We think those young women will be a real inspiration to young women in the United Kingdom, and and we hope, just like the Lionesses, our England football team in the UK, we hope that the Indian female cricket team will be able to come into schools and communities when they're here in the UK, so that they'll be able to inspire that next generation into cricket.
Right. Ma'am, just a few days ago, India was attacked. The tourists were attacked, and you also joined in a moment's silence as a gesture of respect for victims. What is UK's position, and what are your thoughts on this terrible attack that has happened?
Our Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, was very pleased to be able to send his condolences directly to Prime Minister Modi, and to send our condolences to the families of the victims of these appalling attacks. The UK stands with India against terrorism, always and in whatever form. We know the Indian nation is hurting because of those attacks, and our relationship with India is very long, is very deep. When you're hurting, we're hurting, and I was pleased to be able to join in that minute's silence to show our respect and our support for India's fight against terrorism.
Just last question, ma'am. There is an Indian demand regarding the return of Kohinoor to India. Is there any kind of conversation happening between the two sides?
We've been talking between the UK and India for quite some time about the way that we think we can collaborate much more closely together to make sure that people both in the UK and in India can benefit from and have access to many of the cultural artefacts that stem back to the time, very different era. That's something that I've discussed with my counterpart,